Alright, welcome back to the Shreveport Connection. My name is Tommy, if you don't know that. Okay, this is about the TNA pay-per-view for tonight. But first, some TNA news that's been spread around. Let's see. TNA will be sending several stars to Mexico on June 18th for the AAA's Triple Mania show. The stars will also be used on the AAA TV tapings leading up to the big show. Some of the names who might be going to the show include Jeff Jarrett, Scott Steiner, Mickie James, and Velvet Sky. Ric Flair's reported shoulder injury and rotator cuff tear is at the top of his shoulder, and he is able to lift weight without much pain. Flair wasn't hurting when the brutal match at last month's Lockdown pay-per-view was over, as noted before. Flair is putting surgery off because he doesn't want to go through the 6 months of rehab. Speaking of Flair, he recently filmed a pilot for the reality TV show with fellow Hall of Famer Roddy Piper. Former TNA and WWE star Chris Harris returned to action at last week's TNA live event in Fort Smith, Arkansas. Harris teamed with Matt Hardy to lose to the tag team champions Beer Money Inc. And Hardy introduced Harris as his surprise partner before the match, and Harris ended up taking the pin from Beer Money at the end of the match. TNA Knockout Velvet Sky is putting together a charity campaign for Gregory Shane Helms after the former WWE superstar and his girlfriend Karen were involved in a serious motorcycle accident a week ago Thursday. Helms remains hospitalized after suffering a broken leg and ankle while he was at home, as well as the other injuries. Well, he was back in the hospital, I believe it was yesterday or the day before. He is therefore unable to wrestle, which was his only source of income. According to her official website, Talia-Madison.net, she is accepting donations on Helms' behalf to pay for his outstanding medical and surgery bills, as well as everyday expenses. She asks that people donate what they can by PayPal to Talia_goodies@yahoo.com. Velvet Sky, who said she would never go on Twitter because she thought it was stupid, launched an account the other day via twitter.com/velvetholler to help spread the word on her charity campaign. The account has been confirmed by her official website, as well as Jeremy Borash himself. Okay, she also wrote that I know I said I would never go on Twitter, but I want to use it in a positive way to help spread the word about donations for Helms, and that was it. It's been speculated that Helms has been unable to gain employment with TNA Wrestling following his release from WWE last year because Velvet Sky vowed she would quit the promotion if he was bought in. The two were involved in a relationship for several years, and their breakup in 2009 was said to have been tumultuous. TMZ is reporting that Shane Helms is being investigated for DUI at the time of the terrible motorcycle accident, being a week ago Friday in North Carolina. According to the police report, witness told police that Shane was riding on a motorcycle with his girlfriend after leaving a restaurant in Smithfield, North Carolina around 9:15 p.m. He allegedly drove through a stop sign, lost control of the bike, and drove straight through the metal chain link fence. A witness who was at the bar where Helms had been right before the accident said that he saw Helms drinking alcohol there. A blood sample from Helms was taken as soon as he arrived at the hospital to determine his blood alcohol content. Results could be taking several months to come in. Big Daddy Donnie of the O Show reports that Helms and his girlfriend had to be airlifted to a hospital, and in addition to Helms suffering a broken leg and broken ankle, his nose is also broken, and his jaw may have been dislocated. Helms has received over 200 stitches. Johnny also reports that his girlfriend, Karen, broke her neck. My thoughts and prayers and hopes for a quick recovery go out to Helms and his girlfriend. Hulk Hogan refuted criticism that he never jobs, as he wrote last Friday on Twitter, in his response to a fan allegedly saying he would not agree to job to wrestlers below his level of stardom. He was quoted by saying, "You mean like Billy Kidman, who beat me 3 weeks in a row?" HH. To end his quote. When asked about not jobbing to Shawn Michaels at SummerSlam 2005, he responds by saying, "Vince is the only man that makes these decisions. That come from him. HBK didn't want a job, not to me. Bye, over it, Hulk Hogan." Mr. Anderson took a shot at WWE while cutting a pre-match promo at yesterday's TNA live event in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Well, this was done last weekend. Anderson yelled, "Mr." And audience members yelled Kennedy. He stopped and said, "No. He died in a horrible train accident. A train wreck that can be seen on USA every Monday night." Anderson beat Jeff Jarrett by a pinfall in the main event of that evening. Velvet Sky comments on Twitter, "Please keep Chris Sabin in your prayers as he makes a speedy recovery from his knee injury." Angle comments on Twitter, he just signed a 3.5-year guarantee contract with TNA. "I will be compensated higher than WWE. I am proud to be in TNA. Thank you, Dixie." Nick Bolia, the son of Hulk, the Hulkster, should be engaged by now because he announced it on one of his sites earlier this week. Following some rocky years, including a stint in jail, Nick Bolia, the son of TNA's Hulk Hogan, is getting engaged according to different celebrity websites. The lucky one, or unlucky one, depending on your view, is Brianna Tiesi, a 20-year-old model and dancer from Los Angeles. The two have been together for the past 3 years and will be proposing in the coming days. Treasure Coast, Florida news website, being tcpalm.com, published the wedding announcement concerning TNA Wrestling's talent, James Cox, a.k.a. James Storm, and Danny McEntee, who got married on March 30th in Nashville, Tennessee. Okay, and now for your TNA results from the pay-per-view. Get repositioned for this. Okay, Sacrifice opened up with a promo focusing on the World Heavyweight Championship title, and the video showed RVD and Sting working out for their main event. Mexican America is your first match. They go to the ring. Out comes Anarchy and Hernandez, led to the ring by Knockouts Tag Team Champions Sarita and Rosita. Out comes next is Shannon Moore and Jesse Neal, who carry the American flag. Crowd chants USA as we get ready to go. There's going to be more starting things out with our Anarchia. They lock up. I cannot get situated in this. Okay, that's a little bit more better. Complications, don't you hate them? Okay, they lock up and Archaea takes control first. Moore turns it around and takes it to the mat. Anarchia's with a headlock now and then a shoulder block. Moore with a hip toss after running the ropes. Moore with an armbar now. More back and forth action. Hernandez distracts the referee while Anarchia hits a cheap shot and keeps Moore on the mat. Anarchia pins Moore's shoulder to the mat for a 2 count. Moore gets up and takes Anarchia down with a drop kick. Rosita distracts the ref while Hernandez hits Moore from behind and he goes down. Hernandez is tagged in now and beats Moore down to the mat. Hernandez takes it to the corner, but Moore drops him and hits a leg drop for a 2 count. Neal is tagged in and they do some double teaming on Hernandez for a 2 count. Neal works over Hernandez and dodges a splash in the corner. Neal hits a belly-to-belly suplex. Sarita distracts the referee now while Anarquia hits Neil from behind, allowing Hernandez to take control. Anarquia tags back in and hits Neil in the knees to the gut. Knife edge shots. Moore tags himself in and hits crossbody on Anarquia for 2. Moore slides out of the ring and traps Anarquia on the apron with his right hands. Hernandez comes over, but Moore moonsaults him into the apron. Rosita distracts the referee again, and Sarita runs in and hits Moore from behind now. Anarquia works over Moore and tags back Hernandez. Hernandez comes in and holds a torture rack-like move on Moore, drops him and gets a 2 count. Another tag to Anarquia for some double team action. Hernandez drops Moore and Anarquia covers for 2. Anarquia takes Moore to the top now. Moore fights him off and another moonsault. Hernandez comes in and stops Moore's tag. Moore kicks him in the head and tags in Neil. Neil takes out both Hernandez and Anarquia with clotheslines. Then they go back and forth. Hernandez goes for the border toss on Neil but slides out. Moore goes for the Moorgasm, but Rosita gets in and causes interference. Anarquia and Sarita pull Moore to the floor and work him over while Hernandez lays out Neil in the ring for the pin and the win. Then they go to Tenay and Taz talking about tonight's top matches again. Jeff Jarrett's music hits and out he comes with Karen Jarrett, who has a brace on her foot and is walking on crutches. This is a scam here. Jeff helps Karen to the ring. Jeff takes the mic and says that unfortunately Karen hurt herself while handing out the orders for their hired help at home on Friday morning. Well, this was set up sometime early Thursday on Twitter. The crowd starts chanting bullshit. Jeff says Karen sipped on one of Cody's action figures and her ankle is broken in 2 places. Well, what they said on Twitter was that Karen was cleaning the kitchen and slipped on the floor and broke her ankle. So, this brings out, let's see, Jeff says that the match against Kurt Angle and Chyna won't happen tonight. He says it's not their decision, it's the doctor's decision. Crowd chants for Kurt Angle, but out comes Mick Foley instead. Many people said that me and Mick look like twins. Choose for yourself. Okay, Foley says that he saw the x-rays. There really is 2 fractures in the ankle. Foley then says x-rays weren't of Karen Angle though, because they are of African-American male, about 6 foot tall. Go figure. She used the x-rays of, like I said, 6 foot 6 African-American male. Foley says this is a wrestling ring, and wrestling takes place inside of wrestling rings because wrestling matters. Karen said she didn't bring anything to wear tonight. Foley had the TNA costume designer make a special outfit for Karen tonight. Crowd starts chanting for Chyna. Foley says Karen is likely to get her butt kicked all over the Impact Zone tonight, but at least she will look good while it's being done. Foley tells her to have a nice day, if she can, and his music hits. Karen takes off her boot and crunches and throws it at Foley. She's no longer injured. Then they cut backstage with Jeremy Borash and Brian Kendrick. At this point, the internet, the pay-per-view of the sound, you couldn't even hear it halfway through the event. I ended up finding another website that hosted it, so I could at least hear what was going on. Okay. Borash asked him about the match with Robbie E tonight. Kendrick blabs on like only he can about the X Division. Kendrick then says he's here to put the X Division back on its proper path. Robbie E versus Brian Kendrick. Well, go to the ring. Out comes Robbie E with Cookie at his side. Out next comes Brian Kendrick. Kendrick gets in the ring and meditates. In the middle of the ring, Robbie escorts Cookie out of the ring and taunts Kendrick while he sits Indian style in the middle of the ring. Robbie runs his mouth and gets attacked by Kendrick from behind. Kendrick wears his little white robe halfway through the match. Kendrick then throws Robbie out of the ring and leaps through the ropes onto him. And luchador style, of course. Kendrick brings him back in the ring and hits him across the body for a 2 count. And then he goes back to meditating. Kendrick continues offense on Robbie. Kendrick goes to the top and stalls. Robbie runs into his boot and goes down. Cookie brings Robbie out to the floor and regroups. Kendrick comes out and gets into it with Cookie. Kendrick tells her that God has a plan for her. He kicks Robbie off and brings it back into the ring. Kendrick goes up top. Robbie charges and knocks him outside to the floor. Kendrick comes back in, but Robbie starts stomping on him. Robbie taunts Kendrick now before whipping him hard into the corner. Robbie works Kendrick over on the mat now. Robbie with an elbow drop and a 2 count. Robbie goes back to work on Kendrick on the mat now. Robbie clotheslines Kendrick over the top and he lands hard on the floor. Robbie comes out after Kendrick suplexes him on the floor. Robbie goes back in and distracts the referee while Cookie chokes Kendrick with her foot. Robbie comes back out for another suplex, but Kendrick counters. Kendrick whips Robbie onto the apron and super kicks him. Robbie rolls back in the ring, but Kendrick hits him with a drop kick from the top. Kendrick puts his cape over him. Robbie face down and wails away. He charges, but Robbie catches him and drops his face into the corner. Robbie goes for a neck breaker, but Kendrick slides out and drop kicks Robbie for the pin and the win. After the match, Kendrick goes to shake Earl Hebner's hand, but Hebner runs off. Kendrick goes to shake Robbie, but now Robbie's asking what's wrong with him. Kendrick grabs Robbie's arm, but he pushes him off. Kendrick grabs Cookie's arm now, and they play tug of war over her with Robbie, as he's still in the ring and they're outside. Well, Cookie and Robbie escape the ring and call Kendrick a freak before heading to the back. Alright, then they cut to Tara backstage, and she's about her being fired if Mickie defeats Madison Rayne tonight. Well, Madison walks up and tells Tara to keep herself backstage tonight because Madison doesn't need her. We go to a promo for tonight's Knockouts title match. And out first comes Madison Rayne. If Madison loses this one, Tara is freed from her contract, not fired. Out next comes the TNA Knockout Champion, Mickie James, to a nice pop from the crowd. Bell rings, and right before they lock up, Tara's music hits and she comes out. This pisses Madison off right away. Madison meets Tara on the entranceway and starts chewing her out. Tara points out that Madison is being counted out. Madison runs for the ring, but Mickie slides and kicks her to the floor. Mickie works over Madison, but Madison pulls her face first into the steel steps. They go back into the ring, and Madison takes control, getting a 2 count with her foot on the ropes. Another 2 count for Madison. Madison charges in the corner, but now Mickie hits her with an elbow. Madison drops Mickie on the floor by her hair and covers her for a 2 count. Madison goes to the floor and starts yelling at Tara again. Madison comes back in, but Mickie hits her with a forearm shot and another. Mickie ducks a clothesline and hits a neck breaker on Madison. Mickie rolls Madison up from behind for a 2 count, and after she's caught with Tara, they go back and forth, and the referee gets knocked down. After Mickie went for a Thesz press on Madison, Madison moves out of the way, and the referee intentionally just steps in the way, and everybody knows what's going to happen. Thesz press on the ref. And he's down for like 3 minutes or so. Mickie kicks Madison in the gut and goes for a DDT. Tara runs in the ring now, and she's wearing her glove. It's like a real boxing glove, kind of. And Mickie dropped Madison. Madison wants Tara to hit Mickie. Tara goes to hit Madison, but stops. Madison sweet talks her and drops to her knees, begging her to stop, to not hit her. Tara acts as she's going to hit Mickie, but turns and lays Madison out with a hard shot from the glove. Mickie covers Madison for the pin. After Tara is rolling out of the ring, as she's rolling out of the ring, she rolls a referee to get the 3 count. Winner of the match, and still TNA Knockout Champion, Mickie James. After the match, Tara runs to the ramp and Mickie looks at her shocked. Tara drops to her knees and is happy that she's free now. And that's basically that. They go backstage with Jeremy Borash and Fortune. Kazarian talks about facing Max Buck tonight, and AJ Styles talks about facing Tommy Dreamer. Beer Money is up next to talk about Matt Hardy and Chris Harris. Robert Roode says that they will walk away, still the champs tonight. James Storr says he's here to drink his beer and whoop Chris Harris' ass tonight. I missed this part, so I had to get it from the dirt sheet because I had to go to the bathroom. And up next is your TNA X Division title match, Max Buck versus Kazarian. And got to ring out first the challenger, Max Buck. Then your champion, Kazarian. Bell rings and they lock up. Kaz takes it to the corner and comes out with an arm lock. Back and forth action with reversals now. They take it to the mat now for more back and forth action. Kaz with a drop toe hold and another headlock on Buck. Buck charges in the corner, but Kaz moves. Kaz slams Buck into the mat by his head for a 2 count. Kaz ends up on the apron, and Buck knocks him to the floor. Buck leaps through the ropes and kicks Kaz down. Buck brings it back in the ring and works Kaz over. Buck chokes Kaz on the ropes with his boot. More offense and a 2 count from Buck. Buck drops several knees into Kaz's back and gets a 1 count. Buck keeps Kaz grounded to the mat now. Buck keeps it up until Kaz rams his back into the corner. Max knocks Kaz off and goes to the top. Kaz runs up, gut wrench suplexes Buck from the top rope to the mat. They get up and Kaz clotheslines Buck twice and spin kicks him. Kaz catches Buck in the corner and slams him hard. Kaz with a springboard leg drop for a 2 count. More offense by Kaz and a neck breaker for a 2 count. More back and forth action until Buck power bombs Kaz into the turnbuckle. Buck with a blockbuster type move out of the corner for a 2 count. Buck drops Kaz in the corner and gets back up top. Buck hits a 450 splash on Kaz, but only gets a 2 count. Buck smashes and smacks and taunts Kaz now. Then goes for a suplex, but Kaz blocks it and slams Buck's gut over the ropes. Kaz with a running kick to the head. Kaz runs the ropes and sunset flip power bombs Buck from the apron down to the floor. Buck lands hard and smacks his head onto the floor. Kaz brings Buck back into the ring and covers him for a 2 count. Back and forth action until Kaz hits a Shining Wizard out of nowhere for the win. JB is backstage with Abyss. JB starts talking and Abyss tells him to shut up. Abyss talks about everything he's been through and then shows his missing teeth. Abyss says Crimson's undefeated streak will end tonight and your match is up next. Abyss is out first and Crimson is out next, who's undefeated. He gets a decent reaction from the crowd and they go at it. They grab each other's throats. Abyss knocks Crimson down and goes to work on him. Crimson comes back with a drop kick, kicks Crimson in the head. Crimson ducks a clothesline and sends Abyss over the top to the floor. Abyss pulls Crimson out to the floor and hits the knee to the head and some right hands. They go at it on the floor with Abyss throwing Crimson into the barrier. More right hands from Abyss. Abyss throws Crimson into the steel steps now. They bring it back in, but Abyss keeps dominating. Crimson tries fighting out of a headlock, but Abyss knocks him to the mat. Crimson finally fights out, but they double clothesline each other in the middle of the ring. They get up and trade shots. Crimson with a big clothesline and a splash in the corner. Crimson with big knees and a neck breaker for a 2 count. Crimson goes for a big splash in the corner, but Abyss moves. Abyss chokeslams Crimson, but he kicks out at 2. Abyss goes under the ring and brings out Janice. He chases the referee out of the ring. Crimson ducks a shot from Abyss with Janice and spears him for a 2 count. Crimson charges again, but Abyss drops him with a big boot to the chest. Abyss goes for the shock treatment, but Crimson slides out and drops Abyss with a DDT for a 2 count. Abyss goes back to the floor, but Crimson cuts him off from the ring. Abyss drops Crimson with a cheap shot and goes for the second rope. Abyss hits a big Vader splash from the second rope. but Crimson kicks out at 2. Abyss goes for the splash in the corner, but Crimson moves. Crimson drops Abyss with a big sit-down power bomb for the pin and a win. Then they get a promo for the tag titles tonight. And up next is your tag title match. We go to the ring. Out comes first Matt Hardy. Out next is Chris Harris for his first TNA match in several years. Out next is your World Tag Team Champions Beer Money. And it's going to be Storm starting things out with Harris, his former partner. Harris is wearing his AMW trunks. And they go to lock up, but Harris tags in Hardy. Hardy attacks Storm and goes to work. Storm turns it around and tags in Rude for some double team knee drops. 2 count for Rude. Hardy backs Rude in the corner and tags in Harris. Harris beats Rude down in the corner and taunts Storm. Rude fights back with right hands and chops on Harris. Hardy comes in and Rude takes him down. Takes him out, and also before tagging in Storm and Rude double team Hardy. Hardy smacks Storm and knocks Rude off the apron. Hardy tags in Harris. Storm runs Harris out of the ring. Hardy tries to attack from behind, but Storm takes him down. Storm comes in from behind and spits beer in his face, and Harris works Storm over now. Harris comes back in, and they hit 2 big double team moves on Storm in the corner. 2 count by Hardy. Hardy runs into Storm's boot and catches knees to the face. Rude and Harris come in at the same time. Rude with clotheslines on Harris and a big running clothesline out of the corner. Rude with right hands now. Rude comes off the second rope with a blockbuster on Harris. Hardy runs in, but Rude clotheslines him to the floor. Rude turns around and chops Harris. Rude with fisherman suplex on Harris, but for a 2 count. Rude goes to tag Storm in, but Hardy pulls him to the floor. Rude turns around to a big full Nelson slam from Harris for a 2 count. Hardy comes back in by tag and keeps the offense on Rude. Hardy with a side slam on Rude. Hardy drops an elbow to the back and goes to the second rope for an elbow drop. 2 count on Rude. Hardy puts pressure on Rude's back now with a stretch, and they trade shots, and Hardy takes it to the corner. He tags in Harris for a double team move. Harris continues to work on Rude's back. Harris taunts Storm and tags back in Hardy. Hardy with an elbow drop and a forearm shot to Rude's lower back. Rude hits Hardy in the mouth with an elbow. Rude goes for a tag, but Hardy stops him and continues to work on his lower back. Rude and Hardy collide, and both go down. Harris spits at Storm again. Rude finally makes the tag to Storm, and he comes in. Harris misses a clothesline, and Storm unloads on him. Storm beats Harris down and clotheslines him back down. Storm with a Theus press and several right hands. Harris tosses Storm over the ropes, but he hangs on and comes back in. Knocking Harris down, Storm DDTs Harris from the second rope for a 2 count. Hardy made the save. Rude comes in and throws Hardy out, and they go at it on the floor. Storm brings Harris to the corner and hits an inverted DDT from the top, but only gets a 2 count. Rude comes back in for the double team. But Storm... I lost my place. Storm DDTs Harris for the second rope for a 2 count. Hardy made the save. Rude comes back in. Throws Hardy out, and they go out on the floor. Storm brings Harris to the corner and hits an inverted DDT from the top, but only gets 2. Rude comes back in for the double team, but Hardy stops it. Hardy hits a side effect on Rude. Storm counters with a twist of hate. Counters a twist of hate and hits a backstabber on Hardy. Storm counters. Counters Harris now, but Harris spine busters him to the mat. Harris turns around and to an even bigger spine buster from Rude. Beer Money hit the double suplex on Hardy and do the signature pose. Harris runs into a big super kick from Storm. They go for the DWI on Harris, but guess what? Doesn't happen. They choose to do their DWI from the rope, and they call it a death sentence. for the win. Which is basically it's the same move that the Road Warriors use when the one guy, the opponent, the tag team partner holds the guy with his out to the side and the leg drop from the top. Winner, beer money. Go backstage with JB and Brother Ray. Ray starts insulting Borash. JB asks Ray what his business with Tommy Dreamer is now. Ray goes on and says he can do whatever he wants because he can. Ray threatens JB again, and AJ Styles represents everything he hates about modern day pro wrestlers. Twitter, video games, not what real wrestlers like Ray does, which is drink whiskey and listen to rock and roll music and chase women. Ray says he's taking craps bigger than AJ. Ray snatches the mic from Borash and tells AJ he's lucky he didn't end his career when Ray powerbombed him from the top of the stage weeks back. Well, that's actually months back. Ray says he will do whatever he has to do to take Styles out, and he's going to take Fortune out and take his redneck wife with him. No DQ match, Tommy Dreamer versus AJ Styles. They got a ring, Dreamer's out first, AJ's next. They come face to face in the ring, they're ready to go. They lock up and break it up before anything happens. Another lock up, and AJ goes behind Dreamer, takes Styles to the mat, and they go back and forth. Dreamer begs the ref to get Styles off of him, but there's no DQ. They lock up again, and Dreamer hits a knee to the gut and some right hands. AJ tries to make a comeback, but Dreamer puts an end to it. Dreamer hits Snake Eyes in the corner, but only gets a 2 count. Dreamer drops a series of elbow drops for a 2 count. Dreamer with a headlock now. AJ ends up on the apron and comes back in with a clothesline on Dreamer. More clotheslines from AJ and a drop kick. Dreamer is hit to the floor. AJ slingshots over the top and lands on Dreamer. They fight to the floor now. AJ knocks Dreamer around and slaps him in his head into the apron. Dreamer blocks AJ and slams his head into the ring steps. Dreamer misses a clothesline, but drops AJ near the guardrail. Dreamer lands on it, and AJ knocks him off. They fight in the crowd now. Dreamer gets cut open. It looks like he's cut open, it looks like, and slams AJ into the part of the set near the fans. AJ is also cut open by his temple. Dreamer brings it back to ringside area and goes under the ring for a trash can full of weapons. Dreamer comes into the ring. AJ runs in and kicks the trash can into his head. AJ goes onto the ring and brings the table into the ring. AJ drops the table on Dreamer's head as he tries to get up for a 2 count for AJ. The crowd chants for fire, like they want a table lit. Dreamer and AJ trade shots now. Dreamer gets thrown into the ring post, into the corner. The table is propped up on one side of the leg, where it's up like this. AJ runs across it, leads on the Dreamer in the corner with a big right hand. AJ drops Dreamer head first and gets a 2 count. It's like a ramp and a splash move. Dreamer counters and DDT Styles for a 2 count. AJ's leg goes under the ropes and the referee stops the count. In a no DQ match, Dreamer pulls a 4 count and tries to stab Styles in the eye, but AJ blocks it and trades shots with Dreamer. Styles with a trash can shot to the head of Dreamer. Dreamer goes to drive AJ through the table, but AJ hits him with a Pele kick. Styles goes for the Styles Clash through a table, but Brother Ray runs in and hits AJ from behind with a chain around his fist. Daniels runs and chases Ray off. Dreamer hits a big DDT on the table and through what was left of the table that was still ramp up. Covers him for the win. Winner Tommy Dreamer. Then they go for the promo for tonight's mixed tag match with the Jarretts versus Chyna and Kurt Angle. They go to the ring and Karen and Jeff are out first. Karen is happy about having to participate in the match Out come next is Kurt Angle by himself. China's music hits, out he comes next in red, white, and blue. What they call red, white, and blue. It was actually red, silver, and blue. What it looked like. Real glittery. China hits the ring and poses for the fans. Angle is all smiles as Karen is being upset. Poor thing. Angle and Jeff start things off, and the fans chant for Kurt. They lock up. Kurt takes control first, knocking Jeff down with a shoulder. Kurt takes it to the mat now with a 1 count and a headlock takedown. They go to the corner and Jeff hits a cheap shot, takes control of the match. Angle comes back with a big hip toss and a suplex for a 1 count. Angle points at China and the crowd pops. In she comes and Jarrett escapes from the ring. He wants no part of China. Jeff tells Karen she has to get in the ring, but she argues with him. Hey, China going to kill you. Chant starts breaking out. Similar to what Joe's going to kill you. Well, China's going to kill you. Jarrett's are being counted out as Karen finally enters the ring, but actually doesn't even do anything. Jeff sneaks in and takes out Kurt Angle, like I just said. Jeff tells, since he never did tag in, well, he's still the legal man. Jeff tells the referee to get China out, as she has to leave. Well, why is that? If it's a mixed tag, anything goes. Okay. Well, anyways, Jeff is stomping on Kurt now as China finally exits the ring. Angle turns things around and with an elbow to the face and a powerbomb. Angle turns it into an ankle lock. Karen comes in and Kurt grabs her. Kurt walks Karen to China, but Jeff tags Kurt out from behind. Takes Kurt out from behind. It's back to Jeff and Kurt in the ring now. Jeff with a drop kick on Kurt and more stomps. Jeff slides out of the ring and hits a big right on Kurt. Then snaps his neck over the rope. Jeff leaps from the top with a crossbody for a 2 count. Crowd chants China some more. Kurt and Jeff go down now. More back and forth action until Kurt hits a belly to belly for a 2 count. Angle goes for the angle slam, but Jeff slides out. Kurt grabs him and hits a trio German suplexes. Well, these are belly to belly suplexes anyways. Jeff blocks another Angle slam attempt and drops Kurt with a kick to the head. Jeff goes for the stroke, but Angle turns it into an ankle lock. That's also blocked. Angle goes for the Angle slam again and nails it for this time for a 2 count. Jeff wants to tag Karen now, but she won't. Jeff back kicks Angle below the belt. Angle tags in China. Jeff turns around and she scoop slams him. Well, the scoop slam was a botch. Then she gets him with a suplex. She points at Karen, but Karen walks away from the ringside area. China stalks Karen outside the ring, and they go and back into it. Karen turns around and in the ring to Kurt. He taunts her. She turns back around to China. China and Kurt corner Karen. China splashes her in the corner. China grabs Karen and lays her out with a pedigree. China applies the ankle lock on Karen. Jeff runs in for the save to stop her from tapping, but then Kurt comes in, ankle lock in the middle of the ring, simultaneous ankle locks, and Karen taps. China gets a win. After the match, China and Kurt pose in the ring. They go to replays. Then they go to promos for tonight's main event, which is RVD versus Sting. They go to the ring, but Mr. Anderson's music hits, and out he comes. The number 1 contender cuts a promo and joins Taz and Tenay in commentary. He's wearing the Brett Favre number 4 jersey from the Packers. Alright, the challenger RVD is out next. And then Sting. Bell rings and they go to lock up. They lock up and Sting applies a headlock. Back and forth until they lock up again. This time it's RVD with a headlock. Sting misses a clothesline and RVD takes him down with his legs for a 2 count. They go at it in the corner now. RVD goes to catapult Sting out and gets blocked. Sting clotheslines RVD and goes for another, but RVD jumps out of the ring. RVD finally gets back in the ring, and we get 2 counts. RVD spin kicks Sting to the mat and shows off some more. RVD stalls some more and comes back in for a 2 count. RVD goes for a running spin kick in the corner, but Sting ducks and RVD lands outside on the floor. RVD goes to leg drop Sting on the guardrail, but Sting moves and RVD lands hard on his ankle. They go at it at ringside and they fight up in the crowd. Sting and RVD make their way back down to the ring now. They bring it back in the ring and more back and forth action. Sting gets fired up out of nowhere, doing like he's hulking up. After he was, I believe he was slammed or whatever. It's a Rolling Thunder. He took the Rolling Thunder when he blocked the Rolling Thunder with his knees. Then he got up and did the Hulk up. Stinger banging his chest and what have you. Well, yeah, okay, back to the action. Sting gets fired up, hits RVD with right hands and a big clothesline. And another. Sting goes for a Stinger splash, but RVD kicks him in midair. RVD misses the frog splash, and Sting rolls him up for a 2 count. Sting goes for the death drop, but it's botched, like I said, because the fact RVD just slips out, fell on his own. And then Sting goes for it again and lays out RVD. Scorpion death drop. Sting covers him for the pin and the win. After the match, Sting celebrates with the title. As they go to replays, Anderson, who is still on commentary at the moment, says he has a little something special for Sting on this week's Impact. RVD raises Sting's hand in victory, and they shake hands and hugs each other for a good match. Anderson decides to go to the ring now and congratulates Sting on winning. RVD leaves as Anderson's heading to the ring. Anderson stares Sting down as the pay-per-view goes off the air, and that was it. They were talking and doing the stare down, similar to Triple H and Undertaker. Stare down, a couple of words were said, and that was it. That ends your pay-per-view results.